7 Diabetes Nighttime Signs You Will Regret Ignoring. When it comes to diabetes management, vigilance is required even after the sun sets for the night. The hours spent sleeping can unveil important symptoms that can help or hinder your ability to keep blood sugar under control. Recognizing these overnight signs and taking prompt action is critical for maintaining your health on multiple fronts. In this video, we'll explore 7 key diabetes symptoms that can occur during sleeping hours. These should never be ignored or dismissed. By understanding what your body is trying to communicate at night and addressing it effectively, you can improve glucose control, prevent complications, and ensure high-quality, uninterrupted rest. When darkness falls, diabetes does not stop. Just as during the day, it requires consistent monitoring and management, even when you close your eyes. Do not wait until morning to take action on the important messages your body sends at night. Let's dive into it. Number 1. Needing to urinate frequently overnight. You may have heard your doctor use the medical term nocturia, which refers specifically to an increased urge to urinate during nighttime hours. When blood glucose levels are running too high, the kidneys will try to pull out and expel excess sugar through urine production. This leads directly to nocturia. Waking up several times throughout the night to use the bathroom can severely impair sleep quality. Tossing and turning to deal with constant urination leads to fatigue, lack of daytime alertness, and cognitive issues in the long run. Even worse, it serves as a clear signal that blood sugar is remaining well outside the optimal range for too long. Managing nocturia involves a multi-tiered approach. First, closely monitoring your nighttime glucose allows you to detect and treat high levels proactively before reaching the point of urinary urgency. Second, discussing medication adjustments with your doctor may help prevent sugar spikes in the evening hours. Third, be very mindful of fluid intake as bedtime approaches, as too much liquid can exacerbate nighttime urination on top of high glucose. Finally, take this symptom seriously and never ignore it. The disruption of sleep patterns combined with consistently high sugar levels can spiral out of control without proper medical intervention. Tackling nocturia head-on leads to better rest and blood sugar regulation. Number 2. Becoming drenched in sweat overnight. Excessive sweating during sleep is known as night sweats, even when the room or bedding temperature feels cool and comfortable. For those with diabetes, night sweats can often signal the onset of low blood sugar or nocturnal hypoglycemia. Several key factors can drive down glucose levels dangerously during overnight hours. These include side effects of certain diabetes medications, highly intensive insulin regimens, a mismatch between food intake/activity and medication dosages on a given day, or sudden increased exercise in the evening time. Regardless of the trigger, waking up with your sleep clothes or sheets utterly drenched is not only uncomfortable. More importantly, it serves as an urgent warning sign that glucose levels have likely plummeted steeply to unsafe readings. Left untreated, the bodily stress from sustained severe hypoglycemia can have devastating consequences. Careful overnight glucose monitoring and vigilance in spotting early night sweat symptoms is therefore vital. Working closely with your medical team to investigate triggers and discussing medication or insulin dosage adjustments often helps prevent future recurrence of lows. Always keep a rapidly absorbable carb source, like glucose tabs, near the bed for fast relief when awakened by sweat-soaked clothing during the night. Before we move on to the next sign, I would like to ask you this. Are you having disturbed sleep lately? Well, now you'll know what the reason is. If you found these signs interesting till now, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more interesting videos from us. Number 3. Persistent restless legs disrupting sleep. The phenomenon known as restless leg syndrome, RLS, involves irresistible and uncomfortable urges to move the legs constantly. This often corresponds with tingling sensations, itching, crawling skin, or shaking movements that are difficult or impossible to control. For those with diabetes, research has indicated a higher than average prevalence of RLS symptoms that correspond with high blood sugar-induced nerve damage. The medical term for this condition is diabetic peripheral neuropathy. This manifests first in the toes, feet, and legs before progressing proximally into thighs or arms in later stages. If RLS symptoms seem to consistently disrupt nighttime sleep patterns, comprehensive medical management on several fronts is crucial, like 1. Tight blood sugar control can dramatically slow the onset and progression of neuropathy to relieve restless limbs. 2. Reducing intake of alcohol, caffeine, or nicotine during evening hours can provide relief. 3. Certain medications like gabapentin may reduce pinch/burn of damaged nerves. 4. Daily moderate physical activity boosts comfort, while limiting rigorous night workouts. 5. Relaxation techniques, meditation, baths, self-massage, before bed soothe symptoms. 6. Support stockings, ankle braces or vibration pads also proven effective. 7. Do not assume you must tolerate restless legs just because you have diabetes. Various treatments can help restore peaceful and rejuvenating nighttime rest. Number 4. Pauses in breathing. Sleep apnea events. Obstructive sleep apnea involves physical throat/airway blockages that lead to paused or shallow breathing cycles during sleep. As oxygen intake is impaired and sleep continuity suffers, those with sleep apnea often feel chronically unrested. For people living with diabetes, addressing sleep apnea quickly is urgent because poor glucose control itself worsens airway obstruction severity. This leads to a vicious cycle of apnea, disrupting both sleep quality and diabetes regulation in tandem, which can accelerate risks of heart disease as well. Losing excess weight is likely the single most effective step toward relieving obstructed breathing, as even very modest fat loss widens compressed airways. Avoiding nighttime alcohol or sedatives also prevents muscles from relaxing too profoundly. Adjusting positions can help too. Side sleeping opens passages better by avoiding flat-on-back postures. In many cases, sleeping with continuous positive airway pressure (CPAP) machines provides immediate apnea relief by using gentle pressurized air to maintain airway integrity. Correcting this dangerous issue provides major benefits for overall diabetes health and safety. Never ignore repeated breathing cessations during rest. Seek professional sleep guidance instead. Number 5. Recurrent low blood sugar during overnight hours. When glucose readings drop well below 70 mg/dL, hypoglycemia occurs. If prolonged, neurological and organ damage can result. But problematic low blood sugars often sneak up when people with diabetes are asleep and less able to sense and self-correct them. This demands advanced prevention. Common symptoms that may penetrate sleep include cold sweats, headache upon waking, vivid dreams, and chronic fatigue, despite 8+ hours in bed. These suggest undiscovered nocturnal hypoglycemia. However, far more grave complications can manifest if lows are ignored night after night: seizures, coma, slowed breathing, abnormal heart rhythms, or even death. You can combat this by doing what I say. 1. Self-testing glucose at bedtime. Addressing lows preemptively. 2. Having quick carbs, like juice or glucose tabs, always within arm's reach. 3. Setting alarms for 2-3 a.m. checks several times per week. 4. Reevaluating insulin doses/timing with your medical team. 5. Do not assume you can sleep off undetected low blood sugars. Prevention, readiness with fast-acting glucose, and being vigilant for subtle clues of nighttime hypoglycemia offers protection. Number 6. Feeling thirsty and needing to urinate after falling asleep. When high glucose is sustained for too long, fluids get pulled from the body's tissues through a process called osmotic diuresis. This leads to increased thirst due to cellular dehydration and yet more frequent nighttime urination as kidneys dump glucose-laden fluid. This can turn into an endless biological catch-22 cascade. Ignoring persistent thirst and bathroom trips disrupts rejuvenating deep sleep while permitting dangerously elevated blood sugar to fester untreated overnight. This accelerates risks of diabetic complications over time. Effectively combating nighttime thirst involves 1. Carefully monitoring glucose levels at bedtime and through the night. 2. Adjusting insulin regimens/medication timing with your medical team. 3. Avoiding excessive fluid intake in evening hours when possible. 4. Not consuming caffeinated or alcoholic drinks close to bedtime. 5. Tracking thirst and urinary frequency patterns over time. 6. Heeding the call of thirst overnight, rather than sleepily ignoring it until morning, is vital for keeping diabetes under optimal control. Nighttime thirst that recurs without explanation warrants further medical investigation for solutions. Number 7. Cramping and knotting of lower leg muscles. Some with diabetes experience extremely painful Charlie horses, cramps, and knots of lower leg muscles during sleep, especially the calves or arches of the feet. Certain lifestyle measures lessen occurrence of night cramps. Moderate daily lower body exercise, proper hydration/electrolyte intakes, regular sleep schedules, avoiding long sedentary sitting periods, and supportive footwear choices during the day. Relaxing evening stretching rituals, warm, not hot baths before bed, external heating pads, and massage ease tension as well. If cramps seem to occur alongside higher or lower than normal glucose trends, discussing medication adjustment with your doctor is prudent. Tracking cramp frequency, severity, duration, and possible triggers helps discern solutions over time. Remaining well hydrated day and night while maintaining stable blood sugars also keeps painful limb compressions at bay. While certainly inconvenient or disruptive, nighttime diabetes signs provide pivotal insight into daily management quality and metabolic function. Frequent bathroom trips, disturbing thirst, uncomfortable cramps, hypo/hyperglycemia, and more should never be casually dismissed, but rather examined closely for opportunities to improve health. Whether adjusting insulin regimens, incorporating lifestyle tweaks, taking supplemental medications, or working closely with your medical team, addressing troublesome symptoms at night positively impacts overall diabetic regulation. So listen closely to the important clues your body reveals while you slumber, and take action based on what you learn. Consistent vigilance, even after going to bed, keeps you safely on track. With patient-driven self-care each evening and morning, those with diabetes can enjoy nourishing sleep and optimize health for life.